trust is important in everything in business. And I've been thinking a lot about trust lately with how to market to people these days. Now, if you build trust with someone in the real world, I guess you can do it online these days, but so much of real trust is in person. And so when I ask people, how do you build trust in your marketing funnel? What are you doing? And things like that. I get a lot of, you need to go to conferences, you need to go to events, you need to meet people. And that's all true. Meeting people in person at a conference. I met so many people going to Super Week or other to this day, and reach out to people like, hey, met you in 2017 at whatever conference. That's good from a networking perspective, absolutely. But it also was helpful from a trust perspective. They say, oh, well, I know that person, I worked with that person, I hung out with that person, I saw that person talk or whatever. And it engenders trust. They're a real person. Now, if you are a complete lunatic in reality, when they meet you, it's not going to engender trust. So you have to still actually be a trustworthy person. You have to have good ideas. You have to be someone that not only engenders trust, but you engender trust by whatever it is you bring to that conversation or interaction. So, I mean, there's a whole, that's its own entire scholarly subject. But how do you do that in marketing? How do you do B2B marketing and engender trust? We'll say, oh, case studies. It's okay. More people than I would like to remember, when you get to case studies, go, and they don't care about case studies because they see case studies as cynically as these are your best case studies. Obviously, these are the good things. You're not telling us the bad things. These might be the 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 good things that you did, and 90% of what you've done has been awful or not worthy of comment. So a lot of times people say, okay, well, it's good to have case studies. They don't really read into it unless it's like a specific problem. Like they have a very specific problem, and a case study is like, this was the specific problem. It's exactly your problem, and we fulfilled that specific need. So when you're doing general stuff, unless you understand really this specific problem, I think that you're selling towards someone and you don't have a case study that's very specifically that feels that pain point, they're hit or miss. In just general, they have to be, so a case study is good, but it's got to be real solid. It's got to be really on point with their problem and with the solution that you had for them. And if you have multiple ones, like if you have a business where you solve a problem and you have multiple case studies showing here's how we solved this problem, yeah, that's good. But at the same time, how do you know that those are all not lies? And I think from a larger trust perspective, these days, how do you know it's not even AI generated? I've been in interactions that I had no idea whether they were real or not. I've had interactions where I knew they were a chatbot, or that it was generative video, but it's getting good. And there are ones where I just don't know. And there's some restrictions coming in with the AI Act to the EU, but in the US at least, they're not enforcing much and they don't really require much. And I look at what people are writing and what people are posting, and I don't know if it's like an affectation. I found myself doing it. This sort of how people write on LinkedIn or how people write ad copy, it just starts to feel not human. And how do you get across that this is not just some fully automated pipeline that is not AI? Now, I think video is maybe one of those things, leveraging more video. I want to do that more in sort of more funnel-y situations, but pretty soon these videos are going to be completely AI as well. Now you can't have the hand in front of the face. Here's my hand in front of my face. How many fingers do I have? Does it stay the same? But pretty soon that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to say, is it a background? Can you go do something with one of those toys in the background? And I don't want you to see how much weight I have to lose. I could grab something from off screen and be like, this is an old Slave 1 fire spray Boba Fett Star Wars thing. You can see how yellowed it is. That'll be able to be fake soon. Not that would help sell you on anything. So, yeah, I don't know. I have had interactions where I get partway through this process and I just have this feeling that, wait, this is fake. I'm being tricked. I'm being manipulated. The AI is manipulating me. The personalization is so personalized. It's not just manipulating everybody, it's manipulating specifically me, how I specifically am prone to be manipulated. And, whether it's through whatever AI bidding platforms for any of the major platforms, or whether it's just like how the funnel reacts to the things that I'm doing or clicking on. So, oh, well, you clicked on that, so therefore let's change this messaging. Or just simulating people, simulating engagement, simulating something to make it feel like, oh, there's urgency, there's engagement. Like, sometimes tricking people into thinking that there's a lot of engagement, that there's a lot of interest. Fake reviews is an aspect, right? I saw something, it was from a couple years ago, where it was 30% of online reviews in 2024. They did an analysis, 30% AI generated. And it was growing a significant amount year after year. So where are we at now? Is it half of online reviews? Can you not use online reviews anymore? I'm scrolling, oh, what's the review on this? What's the review on that? I go look for something on Amazon, and it's personalizing the results to put stuff up that's sponsored and whatever else. I saw something, I forget the exact page, but it was something like you had to go literally through maybe even 20 pages of Amazon results to really get to potentially where you wanted to be. You're getting the sponsored ads, you're getting the algorithmic placements, you're getting the everything except for what you are actually searching for. And look at Google and the Google search and how much that has changed how things are. From the trust perspective, when I worked at Lunametrics 2012, we had a dozen people, and everyone thought we were a much bigger company at the time. We grew, but we grew from when I joined it. It was about a dozen people, and there was 4 people total doing data analytics work, and we wrote so much content. We had to write multiple blog posts a month to have enough content to meet our content schedule. It was part of our job, and we had trainings around the country in Google Analytics and Google Ads, and in-person trainings with people where you put them all in a room in New York or DC or Los Angeles or wherever. You trained them on the deck. You could do that all virtually today, but when you do it virtually, then you have a virtual email nurture afterwards, or you're not in the room, you're not talking to them, you're not having lunch with them, you're not grabbing a drink after with a potential client from that. So you're not really meeting people that way. And how we gained clients at Lunametrics was, a lot of it was just from content. And people would find the results and they would contact us for help. The first blog post I wrote when I joined Lunametrics in where to place your Google Analytics tracking tag. And it was because I literally was just like, what am I supposed to write about? And you can write about anything. And I looked through what blog, I was like, well, okay, I'm going to start literally at the beginning, and I'm going to write a post about where do you place the Google Analytics tracking code on your page, because people would still mess it up. They would take this copy and paste, and they'd somehow copy and paste it in the wrong spot. They put it at the bottom of the page because that's where it used to have to go, and they would they just did it wrong. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to write a quick post. Wrote a quick post. It was one of the top performing posts on that blog for years. And it was one of those lift all boats kind of thing. We had a lot of content that wouldn't necessarily bring people in, but it lifted the whole blog. And then there was other stuff that still gets commented on today, that the YouTube tracking post or whatever else. A lot of it was technical, but we got a lot of work from basically those two things, from writing a lot of content and from selling in-person training. And I don't think that would float a business these days. The writing content, there's so much content, and there's so much AI generated content, and the AI generated content is getting to the point where it's good enough that it's nearly impossible for the human eye to tell it from not human content. And so it's devaluing it. It's devaluing written content. It will start devaluing video content. It's going to devalue everything other than I'm literally meeting someone in the flesh, shaking their hand, and businesses can't scale that way. So of course there's paid ads and there's whatever else. I'm not saying that marketing isn't working, but the costs are going up and the cost per acquisition is going up, and people are funneling money into AI black box bidding platforms that what else are they supposed to do? And the costs of those are going up, and people are still trying to do physical offline marketing with like print stuff and mail it. And I talked to some of those people, and it's like, how are you measuring that? And they go, well, we're not. We'd love to, but we're not. But trust, it's something I've been thinking about, where how do you do this presently, and how do you keep that human element in there, where you need to engender trust in people to work with you in a way that actually works and develops, so that when you're a new business like mine and you are reaching out to people, that they don't just doesn't, it's how does it stick out from the noise? What do you do that actually makes an impact? And I've heard people say this works, and then I've had people say, no, that doesn't work, this works. And I've had someone else say, no, that doesn't work, this works. And then some say, no, that doesn't work, this works. And no one can seem to agree. I've also had people that said they're all lying because they're selling you the thing that they think works. What works is basically everything. Everything still works. And I think that's probably true. But it's working less and less efficiently because there's so much more noise. How do you know you should hire or buy, why should you buy this product versus this product? And whether that's a $90,000 B2B data project, or whether that's a $90 men's shaver. It's just, there's so much noise now. It's I don't want to say it's not crippling yet, but I worry that, if we can't trust reviews, if we can't trust the search results, if we can't trust, even if they start putting ads in the LLMs, we can't trust the AIs that we are not owning completely. We can't trust what people post videos on social media. It's concerning to me. How do we lock in that human again? So I don't know. I think video for now is probably one of those ways, but long term, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do.